Martin, everybody, welcome to Lockpod. We are Indiana. Oh, excuse me. The Midwest's most dangerous
Now you're
podcast.
talking.
The whole Midwest.
Thank you to
The
Jim
Midwest
Diesel
was-
for coming in. That was good. He gave us that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good interview. Thought it was a little abrupt ending, but, Kevin, ADD
It was like
kicks in.
Look, I mean,
No, it was
everybody-
long. It was long. I
It was
agree.
long. I had a 9
But
o'clock.
we were cruising.
John has to
I
go
know
to work.
Kevin was just like,
I mean,
all right, wrap it up. I saw
John,
Jed's
what time was
face.
it? Like 8:45?
No,
or
it was
something?
late.
It was long.
I acknowledge it was
It was
late.
an hour and 19 minutes. That's
Yeah.
probably the longest
And by the way,
episode in history.
everybody,
It was the longest episode.
it was like
Lockpod.
fading away online. By the way,
Yeah.
And there were even some notes in chat that said like, "Great show, got to go," and it was like 10 minutes earlier when
Yeah.
I said, "Let's wrap it."
Well, that's why you shouldn't read that. It distracts you. Kevin's
Sure,
like,
let's just go till 10.
I'm like all in when I'm in the show. I'm not reading chat.
Well,
I'm
some
like
of us
all
have
in,
some of us have to get to work.
Well,
you know?
speaking of work, by the way, so I come in.
Tom's like, "Yeah, I just show up at City Hall whenever the fuck I want, 10:30, 11."
Whoa.
no, not whatever. I love it when
He's there on Saturday and Sunday.
You hear
a
that,
lot.
Mrs. Smith? Like, we're trying to run a respectable podcast.
Like,
Trying to
let's-
run a respectable
Let's just go
podcast here.
podcast till 9:30 every
Kevin,
Tuesday
you know,
and Friday.
you know I'm not comfortable with potty talk.
Sorry, John.
He's
You're
getting
gonna
a
love
text
this.
from his mom later.
Morning, Jill. How's it going?
Hey.
By the way, speaking of, I come into Kevin's office, and I'm caffeinated, big time. Got to use the
Tom's
restroom.
always welcome here. He can roll in. He has
Totally.
free
I
reign of the
know.
place.
I know where the key is to the bathroom. All that. So I will roll in, and I'm like, could be a long show. Shit, our last show was hour 19. So I'm gonna use the. I'm gonna use the. Yeah, God forbid.
Yes.
But like, I'm gonna use the restroom.
If you leave in the middle of the show, everybody will stop watching.
agree,
So, yeah.
So I
that's
have to
true.
go before the show, John.
Just wear
Right?
a diaper from now on.
I could
Oh.
do that, like Taylor Swift
We're
style.
getting,
but
we're
I just
getting
said
up there, but we're not that old yet.
So I'm like, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick before the show starts. I grab the key, go in there. Dude, you got a problem in there, Kevin.
I'll have to
Listen,
problem.
it's early morning. I don't want to get too detailed, but it was blown up. Let's just say that.
Well, we'll have to talk to the cleaning people. This is a public area. There's a public area.
No,
So-
you have to
so-
have a key to get in there. It's not like people come off the street.
Kevin has a men's and a women's bathroom with one toilet and a sink, a little private stall in the inside of his office.
Yeah.
But in the public hallway.
but I have to use the commoners.
Is
pee
this
on
true?
that.
Not true.
I pee
No.
I pee with the commoners in this office. Kevin's like, no. You gotta go up. You gotta go with the commoners.
You are
Like, stay out of my
capable of
bathroom.
it.
Trust me, I spend probably maybe I'll ballpark it like 4 hours a week at this office.
Yeah,
agree,
right.
yeah.
And we work on a lot of cases together
Right.
because Kevin's a genius
Okay.
and Steve's a
Steve's the
genius.
genius.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
right.
so I
Kevin's a pretty face.
I like to
Yeah.
work. I like to work with him, And so you take a big D, it'll stink up the whole office.
Oh,
So they want.
so you think that was Kevin up here in the commoners?
I mean, Kevin.
It was somebody.
me.
It's limited. It's
Kevin-
limited population.
Kevin
There are
gets-
people here overnight.
Dude,
Kevin
this is
gets
fresh.
here at
Trust me.
4:30. Between 4:30 and 4:45.
It was fresh, dude.
Yeah.
My eyes were watering. It was somebody here right now.
Well, let's
there's a very few people in this building right now. It was one of us.
There's
and it
a
wasn't
lot.
me.
There's a lot
I
of
exclude
people here.
myself and I exclude Jill right off the bat. And I walked in with
Jill's
John.
like, thank
Yeah.
you.
So like I'm
I
down
use
to
the bathroom downstairs. I don't use the public one.
By the way, I'm in the men's. Yeah, right. You use Kevin's.
I used to work here. I know where the good bathrooms
Yeah. Kevin's like, that's a men's room, Jill.
He's like, I don't care.
are.
So I think it's down to John, Kevin, or the dentist.
Or
next door.
what about John Cantrell?
Why can't it
He's
be
a
a
John
wild
walked
card.
in with me. I saw
How
him
do you
pull
know?
up. I pulled up with
He could have
John.
been here early, left,
No.
and came back.
What about
if he-
other tenants?
He's covering his tracks well.
He's like, all right, I'm going to take a shit,
Covering his
leave,
track.
and walk back. Him and Tom.
It was blown
They'll
up
never
so
know
bad.
it was me.
I'm gonna drive back in just to throw everybody
Like,
off. Right?
is there
I'm
any-
pulling the videotapes of this building.
Is there anything you could do a swab on? Like was it a big juice where you just leave like
I
a-
was in the
like a
urinal.
turd
I just
string?
like,
Oh.
yeah. Morning, everybody.
Yeah,
Welcome to
what
Lockpod.
intellectual
Isn't that a great way to
conversation
start?
here.
That's why
Yeah.
we're
Hope you're eating breakfast, everybody.
that's why we're so popular.
That's why we're the most dangerous podcast in the Midwest.
You never know what you're gonna get.
That's right.
Everyone,
Yeah.
Hey, John.
No one's
welcome
listening
back,
to me.
man.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you
to
for
see
having
you.
me. Yeah.
John, Jill, and I both bailed on Taylor Swift Sunday. I
Sorry,
asked Jill.
Tay-Tay.
I wanted her to go on a date with me, John. She said no. Mercer's out of town, which means I could date. So,
Is that what that means?
yeah.
When's she coming back?
I hope she's not listening.
When's she
right
coming
now.
back?
She's coming back Wednesday. Why?
Oh, you got it, ladies.
There's still
go.
time.
Tom's open tonight.
Wait. Tom,
Last night, some
there's a
Blue
lot.
Light special.
There's a lot of voters out here, ladies and gentlemen. We're not just
You're
limiting
right. You
half
know what,
the
John?
population. Yeah.
How dare I?
Yeah, I
be
know.
so presumptuous.
Wait. And non-binary.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
Come
he's
on.
handsome. He can
I roll all ways.
Tom will go
Yes.
out with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jill turned down my date offer,
I-
and then I didn't have the energy that I thought I would have after that day. So
Well, it's
it
probably
turned out
after
to be
Saturday
So
night
it's good
date.
that we didn't buy the tickets.
Still, I was wiped, but we'll get into that in section 2, right? So I don't know what kind of a date I would have been, to be honest with you, but we didn't go. But Johnny Law is Father of the Year. He
Well,
took
I
his
happened
bride,
to-
Kristen, and his daughter, Mimi.
I happened to see Mimi on Thursday, and I can tell you she was pumped.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. I can't take credit for it. My wife set this up. One of my buddies has season tickets for the Bears.
Oh, no
So he
way.
asked-
That's how you got 'em.
Yeah. So if he asked if my wife
Yeah, you
wanted
get a
the
code.
tickets,
You get a
yeah.
code.
Yeah. And so I
Oh, my
wanted to
God.
sell my ticket.
So you got face value.
Wait a minute.
yeah. Like they were like 300. It was still
300.
Yeah.
What were they going for?
Well, I mean, you had to get. So when I was trying to sell them, I was trying to convince my wife to sell my ticket. I'm like, I will drive you,
Dude, it would have paid for the whole show.
Yes, it was a free show, and we could have had dinner.
Mimi and Kristen would have
Yes.
gone for free
Yes.
to see Taylor
And you
Swift.
could have been
and you
like-
would have probably made a couple bucks still.
Yes, and so
And you'd have been
You
like a
could even
limo
driven
driver,
them.
right? You'd have picked him up, dropped him off.
Hit a dispensary while you're there with the winnings you made.
No. He's driving.
Oh, my bad.
yeah.
Okay.
Were these good seats?
They're on the opposite ends of
I would have driven
from
them.
the stage. So they're like 14 rows up.
Yeah,
in
they were
the
like
end zone.
Wow.
they were like football seats.
I think
Yeah.
we got some. Do we have video of that?
Yeah, I sent a couple of videos to
Look
Thomas.
at you,
and-
Lockpod reporter.
You know
I
what?
don't have any
Yeah,
video.
I knew you weren't there. I texted you and asked you to
Oh
read
shit! I forgot to put them on the script.
It's okay.
They're so
It's
good.
okay.
The videos are
It's all right.
so good.
So,
They were
My
very
bad.
good.
so I want to thank my-
Kevin and I got sidetracked at pre-show last
That's
night.
fine. I want to
We
thank
do get sidetracked at
I
pre-show a
know.
lot.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
I can imagine.
Like Kevin comes in, it's pre-show. Kevin comes in, he's like, "I got 14 things about work we got to talk about first." It's like,
my buddy Matt Fetch gave us the tickets. He's got Bear season
Oh,
tickets.
that was
Yeah,
nice.
and so like
Nice.
he's
That
my
was
Kudos
nice
out
of
there
Matt.
to county
Good job, Mike.
attorney Matt Fetch.
what a great guy.
he's my good buddy from high school.
So I was giving you all the credit for being Father of the Year. It really wasn't your thing
no,
at
it's
all.
Kristen did it all. But I will say this: I tried to get her to let me sell my ticket, and then she's like, "That is so rude." And I didn't even think about this. And I said, "Why?"
You only had 3?
No, we had 4. Her college roommate Heather.
Oh,
went.
that was nice.
Okay.
So her college roommate came up from St. Louis, and she was able to go. So like the two besties from high school got to go.
You and Mimi.
And
You
and
could have
Emily
given
and
your
I.
ticket to Jill and hung out with me.
So wait, John, what did you explain this? So you wanted? Why was it so rude to sell your ticket?
Okay, so and I didn't even think about this, and obviously you're not either. She's like, "Well, Matt gave us these tickets, and at face value, so you're going to go out
Dude,
and profit."
he coulda-
You
I
coulda
agree
given
with
the
her.
tickets.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt's a
100%.
capitalist.
He
I think
could have
Matt
bought
would've
them.
been cool.
Yes.
He could have bought them and sold 4.
Or at least, like, how do you profit? How do you get to profit from
Gotcha.
this? And so I was
Right.
like, you know what?
Good job, Chris.
My
Good
wife's
point.
the ethics police, you know,
Good
as
point.
you know.
Your
yeah.
wife is smart.
and
Yeah.
then you
Yeah.
went to the show.
Yeah, and so it was really helpful because
Did you know any of the songs?
Yes.
Really?
Well,
Yes.
he's got
Well,
an
first of
8-year-old
all,
daughter. I
yeah.
You got a daughter, right?
And you know, my wife is a vibrant young woman, so she
Right.
likes Taylor Swift. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
And what about Heather?
Yes, yeah,
She's a Swiftie?
yeah, she's a Swiftie. They were dancing, so I get to stand next to my wife and dance with her.
She's
for
having a
4
good
hours.
time.
Like,
And
yeah, I'm
Mimi?
in, yeah. Well, I was necessary because the bathroom situation there, it was.
Gotcha.
I'd say about 3% dudes.
I was going to ask you. The
3%.
videos I saw,
Yeah.
I could not see a dude in
So
the
97%
video.
women. I mean, honestly.
Yes, and I would. It was dads and just random guys here and there. Just like I'm scanning the whole section, and in my row, I was the only guy. There was one dad who was in a row in front of me, and
Okay, so out of the breakdown of the males that were there, was it like a large percentage of LGBTQ males?
yes.
So like you're,
LGBTQ
I mean, are they
males?
like?
yes,
How
gay
do you
males,
know that?
gay males.
Okay.
I'm saying, right?
I mean, like I'm you know, like
They
if
have like
you
a
see
sign on them or
no,
what?
I think you can tell.
there's so no, but there's
LGBTQ male.
there was
Right, like, in the
Like
3%.
the yellow star, Kevin.
Lesbian
God.
male.
pink triangle is
there
what
was
they
two.
used to use.
There was 2 guys that were together in our section. Okay, so we're talking about like 4 guys in my section, and so it's 20. You know, it's like maybe 30 rows, 20 across. And I can assure you, those 2 dudes were at least bisexual
Nice.
because
All right.
they were
Right.
having a good time with each other.
So if
during
you
some of
were
the songs.
a gay male in the 3%, you were a dad. Or,
Yes.
or a good boyfriend / husband.
Yeah, or you're.
I would have been out
you're-
of place.
you're-
Lockpod reporter would have been out of place.
Yes, in your dead shirt.
No, they would.
That would have
Like,
been
hey,
so funny. like, isn't John Mayer playing here?
Is this Wrigley Field? But
That
really
would have
stoned.
been, dude. That would have been so classic. Like walk around, like, what show is this? Like just totally confused. That would have been perfect. Why did we do that, Joe? That would have been perfect.
You were tired.
We
Just
missed
like walk around with my dead shit on.
John.
Like what the fuck?
Let me ask you. So the bathroom situation.
It was
golden, right?
I would say, there's 70-some thousand people go to Soldier Field. I'd say at least
3% is
30
2,100.
35,000 people peed in their pants that day because the line to the women's bathroom was crazy and honestly overflowing around Soldier Field, and then so you just went into the men's bathroom, and
Were women going in the men's bathroom?
they were taking over. Security's trying to stop them. It was a stampede, and it was just everywhere.
Could you get in to use a men's bathroom?
Okay, so the urinal they made a separate line for urinals.
There's a lot of potty talk so far on the show.
Yeah,
huh?
that's cool.
Kevin's
mom has turned the show off.
Well, a long time
Let's
ago.
go. He
Long
said the
time
F word
ago.
right off the bat. So.
Kristen was talking about how I also needed to go because I had to take my daughter to the bathroom because she couldn't hold it, and so it was kind of disappointing, I think, because you couldn't drink if you're a gal going to this
gotcha.
concert.
Yeah.
You don't want a beer.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
want anything.
That's
You're like,
true.
no, because I saw the
You wearing
line.
some real pretty dress and you got a diaper on.
Yeah.
So were they allowing women to go in the men's
They
bathroom?
couldn't stop it.
Couldn't stop it.
They could, and I'm annoyed because my daughter, when the lines were crazy, I'm trying to take my daughter to the bathroom because
Sure.
she had to go right when we walked in.
And you would have snuck her in the guys, right?
Oh,
And
no,
then
I
just
was
stick her in
I
the-
was taking her.
Yeah,
there
you were taking her to the guys.
because somebody had told my wife you need to bring a guy for your daughter so you could take her to the.
That's
She's
the
like, "My
reason she
husband's
didn't want you
going."
to sell the ticket.
Well, that's reason number 2.
Nah, I think Kristen was way ahead of that.
yeah.
She's like,
she
use
used
the
this Matt
bathroom.
Fetch thing,
Right.
But it was really so Mimi
job,
could.
Kristen.
But also
Because the Matt Fetch thing is solid too.
Yeah.
So she had a solid reason, but in reality,
It was so
John
that
was
somebody
the
had
bathroom
Mimi
break.
had. Yeah, Mimi had.
and I'm the
Gotcha.
DD, so
For sure.
we went
designated
driver.
Okay, yeah.
We went to the.
I thought it had something to do with the bathroom.
We used when Kristen was in law school in Chicago. We had a condo up at 16th and Wabash, right by Soldier Field in the South Loop, and so we went to our old favorite pizza place beforehand, and then we just walked over the bridge and parked over there for $50.
you guys.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it was cool.
So what you're saying
You know
is
the neighborhood.
Yeah,
The bathroom experience at Soldier Field sold out Taylor Swift show is still better than Smith Ursich's office.
yes, honestly, yeah.
The surface is rough. If you're in the regular public like me, but Kevin's bathroom, shiny and bright.
Yeah, but
See, I didn't
Not
know
solid.
that's breaking news. I didn't know
Dude,
Kevin had a private bathroom
John,
at
from
Smith
now on,
Ursich.
if
I
you
do
have to go to the
not.
bathroom here, go downstairs. Don't get the key like a schmuck like me.
all right. So
Kevin makes me go to the bathroom.
By the way, imagine how dirty that key is. That public key.
I guarantee you, yeah, I had to wash my hands just touching the key.
Really, the only people that use it is probably Tom and John and.
All right, the peons.
Yeah.
okay, so I will tell you one story
It's
about
as clean
the
as your
bathroom.
hands are, John.
I'll tell you one story about the bathroom. We had some clients here, and we're doing a mediation, and so I had to go number 2, and so I said, I didn't want
Morning.
to.
Oh,
I didn't want
This
to
is going
smell
way
the-
down.
I didn't want to smell up Kevin's interior office. So
Of
I'm
course.
let me go into the general public bathroom that the pediatric dentist kids use
Right,
and all
right,
the
right.
other offices
Uh-huh.
use. And so I went
Smart.
in there, and so I'm using a bathroom, and I'm like, I want to see if Kevin and Steve use this bathroom or the interior. So I did a test, and I wrote some graffiti in that bathroom.
For
Still
a good
there?
time, call Kevin.
No. There's somebody we all jointly do not enjoy. Can I proceed, Kevin? Do you know what I'm going to say?
I do not.
You don't remember this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. No?
I mean,
So
I'm not
anyway,
going to say a name. I'm not going to say a
there's some
name.
litigation involved right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
you get the idea.
But so with and
You wrote his phone number on the stall.
No,
wall?
I wrote a comment about somebody, and so instantly Kevin and Steve both saw it. So I know that they used that bathroom because they were asking if I wrote it, and of course I denied it. I'm not going to admit that.
We got a sharp piece here.
Yes.
Hey,
So-
while John was in here, I had a topic I wanted to bring up.
Let's do it. Congratulations on surviving Taylor Swift.
Oh, thank
by
you.
the way.
It was
This-
it was an
Was
amazing
it bigger
show.
than was it bigger than
amazing.
Elvis or the Beatles?
Yes.
See?
And you know what?
See?
She's a badass because Vesmar likes to talk about how Taylor Swift isn't as good as all these people, but you know what she did? She came in.
I don't like to talk about
Dude,
that.
you were talking mad.
I was
smack
asked
about,
about
her,
it.
She made.
Oh, I have a feeling the Swifties are going to come after you, John.
She made a
As soon as
bunch.
they start
Canceled.
listening to this
Yeah.
podcast.
That's right.
She
That's
made
right.
a bunch of money, and then went back and bought all her music, and then remastered it, in her own way. Didn't let the producers do it, and then
That's
she released
smart.
it. And then if you look at all the sales, everybody, all of her fans, her legion of fans, are not buying the old stuff.
just
They're
the new
buying
stuff.
Taylor's version of
Wow,
it. So
that's
you
smart.
know what Paul McCartney told Michael Jackson. He's like, you should invest in music and buy your own music back, and that's how you really make money for the rest of your life. And then Michael Jackson took that advice from Paul
Beatles,
McCartney and
right,
bought all the Beatles
right.
music and outbid them.
Yeah.
So, like, Taylor Swift, I'd got to say she's better
She's
than
up
those
there.
dudes.
I
yeah.
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hey, I picked this story. It's going on right now. It's a big story out west. Not reading much about it out here. In fact, Jill, have you heard anything about the Banco Brown lawsuit, the Banco Brown situation in Walgreens in San Francisco?
Nope.
John, have you heard this?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're here for this. Okay, so this is a big story in San Francisco. It's a huge story. Basically, it has to do with shoplifting at a Walgreens in an area of San Francisco that used to be really nice, but now it's really like torn up. Okay, a lot of drug use, a lot of like it's just really an area. I forgot the name of it. I want to say the Presidio, but I don't think that's it. But anyway, this part of San Francisco this Walgreens is basically being besieged with shoplifters. So they hire a private security company that's different than the types of security companies we're used to seeing out here. These guys are armed. They'll kick your ass if you're stealing stuff. It's literally like they'll protect their property. And Walgreens hired them on purpose because they're like, hey, if we're going to keep this Walgreens open, we can't let people just come in and steal shit.
Like old school Chicago police, they would just beat
Right.
the crap out of you, and you knew it.
And this is a private company with people that are intimidating looking, strong looking security guards. I mean, I imagine they're making decent dough. Okay. So Banco Brown goes into Walgreens, steals a shitload of stuff. Like, I don't know how much it was worth, but it was like a huge bag of stuff, right? And Banco's, not that this matters because it doesn't matter, but it does.
It's a fact.
So I'm going to say something that I don't think is important to the story, but it became important for some reason, is Banco's a trans female. She was born male. She changed sex, and now she's a female.
Yeah,
but
what
she
I-
was born male.
What I read was that there was a group of kids in there stealing things, of which potentially Banco Brown was one of them.
Okay.
So,
So anyway, Banco's
I'm not sure
confronted.
or not.
I don't know if that's true or not either. And funny enough, we don't see a lot from inside the store. We see everything that took
Just the
place
end.
out. Right. So Banco's walking out of Walgreens. She's got a bag of stuff, and the security guard grabs the bag. Banco pushes. They get into a fight. Like straight up, the guy punches her, and they're rolling around. John, do you want to show it a little bit? Could you? And then we'll sort of describe for the audience that's not watching.
Yeah.
So here we are. It's like an overhead shot of the exit.
Not her walking out the door. So we don't even know if she stole
want me to mute
anything or
this?
not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're literally in a knockdown, drag-out fight. There's a bag with products all over the floor, and Banco and the security guard are just going at it. He punches her. She's fighting
Ooh.
back.
I would say this. I heard that I don't know if this is true, but the security officer is like 6'5",
And Banco is
and
not
she's
big.
and I'm not sure the right pronoun to use, so I'm just going to say Banco.
You say she.
5'2" or 5'3". I didn't.
It's she now.
She. Okay.
She was born. She was born male.
Okay. So 5'2", 5'3".
So Banco's small. And so now they're fighting. They're rolling on the ground. The security guard's punching her. Now, what we don't hear and what I learned more investigation, and we're going to see a confession, the questioning, the interrogation with the police, where the security guard saying the whole time they're rolling around, Banco's saying, when I'm done with this, I'm going to stab you. Okay? I'm going to stab your ass. I'm going to, So the security guard, they get done. Banco picks up all the goods. And as Banco's backing out the door, the security guards come in and he puts his hand on the holster. Banco like faints at him, like lunges, but like doesn't follow through with it. It's like a fake lunge. You know
Well,
what I'm
I
saying?
think it's like a lunge, and then she sees the gun.
Okay, but she did lunge at him,
Still
and
in
then
the
she backed
store.
off.
Still
she
in the
didn't.
store.
She didn't have anything in her hand. No knife, nothing. But she lunged at him. He's got a gun, and he freaking shoots her once in the chest, kills her for shoplifting and a physical confrontation. Now we have a dead body in front of Walgreens, and you have to ask yourself, was this the right thing for the security guard? Was this the right? Was it murder? Was it manslaughter? What do you do with this?
Well, I mean, don't forget. I mean, it wasn't too long ago on the show we did we showed a video of a dollar store manager who chased after a guy on a bike, knocked him off a bike, and recovered some of the goods that he had stolen from them. And I think as a group we were like, it's probably not the smartest thing to do, but how many times can you let these let people just steal.
I thought it was a little over.
Steal and steal. I think it put her in danger.
It's got to be
the manager in
but
danger.
it's got to be proportional response, right? Is hitting somebody on a bike with a car proportional response? Is shooting somebody with a gun proportional response?
Depends. Go ahead, John.
Why is he going for his gun at this point? Like, you know, like she's leaving the store. He boxed her up a little bit. So
it does seem like a weird time to go for the gun.
Yeah,
why not before this?
But is it even theft if she hasn't exited the property yet?
Well, I mean, she's on her way out.
She picked up some
clearly
stuff
on her way out.
Yes, she has her bag. Yeah.
And then she did pick it up and leave.
Yeah, there's definitely an intent there to leave. Yeah,
but like she was clearly walking out, Jill.
Yeah, I think
I'm just asking about the,
when she died, for what it's worth, the bag was right next to her out in front of the door.
She wasn't headed towards the cash register. Let's just put it that way.
It looked like to me that she had got like a gift bag and filled it with stuff.
Well, you know why, John? In California, they don't give you bags.
Yeah,
you have your own bags.
That's true. That's a good point.
Which probably leads to more shoplifting, by the way.
Sure.
Because you walk in with a goddamn bag, it makes it easier to throw shit in the bag and walk out, right? Like maybe we should revisit our bag laws, California. Is it really like saving the earth that much? Because your stores are going out of business now.
Well, I don't know if that's a huge issue.
But it's true, Kevin. If you walk in with a bag, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to shoplift.
Agreed.
If you're walking in with empty hands, it's a lot harder to shoplift.
This is true.
I'm confused. Okay, so this dude, to me, and I'm thinking about it from a lawsuit perspective. I'm representing the family. This guy clearly has been dying to beat somebody's ass, the security guard. So he wants
or he's just sick of watching people steal shit, and he wants to keep his goddamn business open.
But okay, so if you're so worried about the property, why don't you get back all the stuff that she stole? Look she drops a bunch of stuff, and then she just picks up the rest of the stuff. I'm assuming that there's a bunch of more stuff in there. So he pulls out his gun instead of going back to try to retrieve Walgreens property. Isn't that his job? So why is he pulling a gun there? Like, let it play there from Ves Marquis.
Literally, John stopped it, and he's got a right hook.
Watch the property.
Okay, property on the ground.
So she's dropped on the ground. Some of the stuff right there.
He's beating her ass on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, she's literally on the ground. He's beating her ass.
The way I kept hearing it from people was that he had physical control of the situation the entire time.
So there's a bunch more stuff in there.
He did.
Yeah, and so
he's bigger
she
than her.
Gets her stuff. Why isn't he concerned about getting...
He goes for the gun. She lunges. He pulls the gun and shoots her. Boom. It's just that fast.
Nope.
Okay, then why don't we listen to the confession? It's next.
Well, I don't think it's a confession. I think it's a questioning of him because he wasn't charged.
Okay, let's listen to it. John, you got that? It's the next one.
Yep.
A little bit.
In an unusual move, the San Francisco District Attorney's Office publicly released evidence in the shooting death of Banco Brown inside a Walgreens last month. In his interview with SFPD, security guard Michael Earl Wayne Anthony said he felt his life was in danger.
The time we were wrestling, she was saying that she was going to stab me. And that's what really put the fear in my heart. She walked towards the door, but then she turned around and advanced back towards me. And that's when I already had my weapon drawn. And when she moved towards me, that's when I fired one shot.
So,
and he just said, I didn't want to do that, and he started crying.
Yeah, and by the way, if just a kind of a disclaimer here, if we're using the wrong pronouns, because I read an article that the Banco Brown was a transgender man, and that
I'm pretty sure
she's
a female.
But let me ask
you.
No,
I think she's a female, born a male. I think honestly though, this is confusing. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest, America. Yeah. When you start changing sex, it gets really confusing for people to try to
right. So if we're incorrect on that.
Yeah, we're not trying to be disrespectful.
No, not at all.
Before I leave here, so you have murder, you have
manslaughter.
You have manslaughter. That's when you do something when you're mad in the heat of passion. There's
involuntary manslaughter.
So he should be charged with manslaughter then.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, I think. I don't think he should be charged with murder.
Right.
So, but and then the jury has to determine whether or not he should. He's going to be convicted. I don't think they'll find a jury that convicts him.
But here's the thing, Tom, and this is something interesting that the district attorney said. She said, "Look," and they decided not to charge. By the way,
I think that was so. I don't know.
They said,
shocking.
She said, especially in San Francisco, I agree.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Shocking.
Yeah. She's a new prosecutor, by the way.
And she's the one that
replaced the one that got
recalled because she was too light on crime.
And she's law and order. Right.
So, interestingly, she said, look, it can't be, the public's like, let the jury decide. That's not the standard for charging. The standard for charging has to be that they fit the crime and that we believe a jury can convict. And this didn't meet it because I have no reason to disbelieve The
For what,
security
Kevin?
guard
For murder or for
I think for any charge. Any charge.
I don't think you can find a jury that will convict him of murder for sure. Manslaughter, I don't think you'll find a jury to convict him.
Let me ask you this. So let's say we're trying.
Don't you agree, John?
Well, I'm going to break this down. If I'm trying to get a fair jury in this case, I want to pick a lot of people that don't really like cops, security guards, law enforcement. There's a whole lot of people in Lake County that don't like it.
We're talking San Francisco. It's even better.
Yes.
And even more rich of an environment.
So if you're going to bring 70 people from Lake County into the courtroom and you got to pick 12, and I can get rid of 10 people I don't like, because like even on a manslaughter charge, think about manslaughter. This security guard in Indiana, if they just charge him with voluntary manslaughter, he's looking at 10 to 30. That's for killing someone in the heat of passion. Then he's looking at 5 to 20 for the firearm enhancement on top of it. So he's still looking at 75% of 50 years.
Have you looked at that situation in Crown Point where the kid, it's on the front page of the newspaper right now. What do you think about that one?
They upped the charge to murder.
I was shocked
That's
about
crazy.
that, John.
That's
So
crazy.
it has-
Murder?
It has
I
to
mean, I don't know. I mean, we're just going what we read on. So I don't.
Right,
I'm not
right.
I'm not second guessing. I was just shocked it got upgraded.
But they charge him with murder and voluntary manslaughter, right?
So yeah, no. Originally, they charged him with reckless homicide.
Correct.
And then they upped it
Okay.
to murder. So the
Okay.
reckless homicide is only looking at 6.
Right.
Murder's 45 to 65.
How are you going to prove murder in that, though?
Oh, okay, so
What is this? What is the story?
It's a kid. The kid has a gun, and they're getting drunk. He's 18-year-old, getting drunk by a campfire in a backyard.
Parents are sleeping.
He's like shooting into the woods, fake shooting. There's no bullets in the gun. And then, of course, he points a gun right at his friend, pulls the trigger, and it blows him away. Kills him. 16-year-old kid.
The only thing that
it's
could have happened.
terrible.
So when they changed the charges, there obviously could have found more evidence, or he gave a
You got
statement.
Intent. Yeah.
Yeah, and so something happened,
Intent.
or public pressure changed it. Cause
They're going to
sometimes
plead. They're going to plead, right?
I don't know
Honestly,
what's
in
gonna
that
happen
case,
in that case.
he's charged with murder, but they're going to plead down to
you
life.
what's
You
gonna
got to feel
happen.
bad for the kid. He
Yeah.
passed out and he was
Yeah,
hospitalized
dude.
for a couple days
Yeah,
after
he
he
shot and killed his best friend.
It was
Yeah.
his best friend. It was his best friend. He killed.
and there was no argument,
So
no
they
fighting
charge.
anything.
So they charge him with murder.
Yeah.
They plea it down, give him like 6,
Who
7
knows
years.
what's gonna happen?
I know that's part of the thing. You got to go through hell to get to the final
But
result,
some-
which will be a plea bargain, Kevin. Right?
I don't know.
This kid's not going to go to face a murder.
Well,
we need to revisit
Trial.
this. We need to revisit
Okay.
this and see if something
We'll do
happened
it.
between reckless homicide and the murder charge.
He's not going to go to trial on a murder charge. That's my prediction.
I think the one thing I want to finish up about the San Francisco case is and what I was getting to is the DA said that given the totality of the circumstances, including the threat that the security guard believed and could reasonably believe, the evidence shown that his shooting was not a criminal act because he acted in lawful self-defense, and the standard of that is reasonable belief that someone is in imminent danger of being killed or suffering great bodily harm. They're going just on the words on the ground. Like, I don't feel like the security guard was in imminent danger of bodily harm when the shooting occurred.
If she had a knife, though.
Yeah, right.
She
We don't
didn't,
know
and
that.
she didn't.
And there was
No, she didn't.
There was threats that he or she was going to stab the security
Well, she
guard.
said that. That's what he said. That's hearsay because she's dead, right? So, but you know what really got me about this whole thing is now the trans community is outraged.
I didn't read that.
I did.
Yeah.
And it's like a
I'm
big
not
deal.
saying you didn't.
No,
I'm just saying
It's
I
a big.
did.
It's a big
I
deal.
did.
And then I'm asking myself, guys. Oh, by the way, John had to leave. Sorry, everybody. He has court this morning.
On he goes.
him and his wife.
When we read his ad, we're not lying when we say he's in court every day.
Right. So, guys, let me ask you a question. So the trans community is outraged, and it's like, why? Like, what does this have
I
to
think
do
any
with?
community could be outraged.
But
not
what
necessarily
does this have to do with Benko being a trans woman?
Well, nothing,
a
of
trans
course.
man?
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what does this have to do? It's about shoplifting and whether or not a person overreacted to a shoplifting situation. It has nothing to do with her being a trans woman, right?
Well, maybe they're just coming to support somebody of their community. Maybe that's it.
So if it was like a Syrian person, is the Syrian community going to be outraged because, hey, our person's trying to steal and you stopped him? And
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
Maybe
crazy.
Maybe they come together to support.
Like, seriously, draw the line
the
someplace,
family.
trans community. This is ridiculous. This has nothing to do with Benko's
Agree.
sex.
The
It has to
sexual
do with
orientation is not the
whether the
issue
guard
here.
overreacted, whether it was proper what Benko did. I don't. If you want to play that just to prove my point, that last TikTok, John, just click it real quick. It'll get annoying real quick. I promise.
Is this about the incident?
It's about the trans community being outraged.
About this incident?
Oh.
Yes.
About this incident?
The last TikTok on that link right there. Just
There
click
we
on
go.
it.
Wait, this is what?
Hey, clip that.
Is that about this incident?
Yeah.
Really?
This is a woman that All right. But that was a trans activist that went before the San Francisco City Council and decided to scream at them because she was outraged about the mistreatment of the trans community in the Banco Brown case.
Whoa.
We should clip that for the soundboard, though. That's a real good screaming sound. John? What?
Yeah, I can do that.
Whenever we need screaming sound, John can press a button, and we got this courtesy of this lady from San Francisco,
Still
right?
shocked at what I just heard.
I'm just reading it. I didn't think it was about this incident.
It's hashtag
Kevin,
Banco Brown.
I promise you, it was about this incident. It was a city council meeting right after.
Okay. Wow.
I love it when I get questioned on the air.
I just didn't see it when I was researching today.
Kevin doesn't want to upset the trans community, it seems like.
No.
I'm not trying to upset anybody. I was just trying to be factual.
That's not working. Let's do our ads, and then we'll come back.
Same thing about the he or she. I'm still confused.
Okay. I think I'm right on that. Let's have our audience do some
We'll fact
research
check it.
Thank you.
Yeah, have the audience do. When we come back, guys, we got a story about the rail projects in Hammond, which is good. Got some mailbag, good ones. They're slamming me mostly. Talk a little bit.
That doesn't...
Which is typical. Talk a little bit about my triathlon, and we got some Winnie the Pooh coming back. Good story, and then the debt ceiling. So we got some quick hitters we're going to do on the way back. It's worth sticking around for, trust me. So let's go ahead and get some ads done. Misprint Printing. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience in technology allows them to offer custom commercial on-demand printing, sign solutions, and metal business cards.
Threw them both.
Rick Baltonsberger and his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for over 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and in Hammond.
The Ron J. Prestmer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestmer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Eli.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
The Bug Guy Pest Control. Warmer temperatures mean unwanted guests such as ants, spiders, wasps, mosquitoes, and more. Shut down their party before they get started. A comprehensive pest plan from the Bug Guy will help you enjoy the great outdoors as well as the indoors all summer long. To solve your pest problem or start a preventative plan, call the Bug Guy today and tell the pests he's on the way. Call Brian at 219-810-7481.
Calumet Brewing. Whether you're on the golf course or just spending a day in the sun, Michelob Ultra with only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and 4.2% ABV is the perfect beer for a summer day. Michelob Ultra brews a light lager that's worth every single sip, so no matter if you're kicking back after a long workout, a pickup game at the park, or a day out on the fairways, you're sure to enjoy this great light beer. Don't just drink it, enjoy it. Stay tuned for a Lockpot exclusive golf bag giveaway.
We're never going to give this golf bag away.
No.
Here it is. Still here, Steve, waiting for the...
We should just give it to Jed. He seemed really interested in it.
He did.
Right? That would be the nice thing to do.
A gift from Lockpod.
That would be very nice.
Although, what if a lot of people have already entered this?
There's no rules yet, John.
Really?
No rules.
You weren't kidding.
No, I wasn't kidding when I said when Steve gets around to it.
Steve!
Lockpot is anarchy. I'm sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
It is chaos.
So, anyway, what...
We're done.
You can also head over to Michelob Ultra websites and social media pages for details on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Lockpot is anarchy. I like that.
That's a good... There you go. That's a good...
Yeah.
Hey, Pete Buttigieg in the Department of Transportation hooked up the city of Hammond along with many other rail communities across America with $7 million for a rail project that we'd already budgeted money towards, which is
a big deal.
It's a big deal for us because this frees up money for us to do another project that has nothing to do with rail, which is nice.
Really cool. And I think just from statistical purposes, I think 63 awards were made out of 600 applications. So
how much was the total? It was a lot. It was billions across the country.
Yeah, I'm not
Hammond,
sure about the total.
But Buttigieg, when he spoke about Hammond. He didn't mention the city, but he spoke about kids crawling over and under trains and Unfortunately, he was talking about our city. But Governor's Parkway, which is a bridge that's being funded with the city of Hammond, a little bit of money from Norfolk Southern, state of Indiana with a significant portion. Now, the federal government and the state of Indiana are basically picking up most of the cost. Hammond will put in a negligible amount on that project, and it's going to solve, I always estimated, about 75 to 80% of the problem in Hessville. We still have a problem with kids that are tempted to cross stop trains, and it's real close to a school, and we're working on a solution to that. And I think, Kevin, when this is all said and done, we could walk out of this relatively unscathed financially, and we'll have this problem fixed.
Yeah, I think that's huge credit to you, Mayor, and what you've done to push this issue. I think, and I guess what I was going to ask you was, do you feel, maybe vindicated, it's not the right word, but do you feel at least that there's a lot of criticism locally for you and for the council about support of this project, and yet you've got the state of Indiana putting in, I don't know, 65, 75% of it, and now the federal government putting in the rest.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of like, you got to feel good about that.
Well, I don't feel good until it's done.
Right.
So, I want it done. I don't want anything to get derailed.
Right.
It still can be derailed, and I just want to make sure that Governor's Parkway is not derailed. And I know the other project we're working on right now, there's no code name, but it's Scott Middle School. I guess that's a code name. That project's going to go. I know it is. So I think between these two projects, Kevin, we could fix a problem in Hessville that's been there for 100 plus years. Literally 100 plus years.
Yeah, and I think that was something else that somebody mentioned yesterday or recently to you. Like, hey, do we really need this? I mean, I know we're working hard with everybody now, and you're like, look, this is happening.
Well, what they said was, this is interesting, because in Hessville, ever since it went down, Joe,
when you say went down, you mean the ProPublica article?
ProPublica article came out. There's two things that happened. Don't forget about East Palestine, Ohio. That East Palestine, Ohio happened to be Norfolk Southern, which is the same rail line we're talking about now, was devastating for the community. The whole world was watching that situation. And then about a month later, the ProPublica article featuring Hammond and Norfolk Southern came out. And between those two events right there, Norfolk Southern has paid hundreds of millions of dollars to clean up what they caused in East Palestine, Ohio, and now Norfolk Southern's eyeing Hammond. And like I said, I spoke with the CEO of Norfolk Southern. That's a pretty big person, and we're working on a project that'll solve our problem there. So the fact is, were it not for what happened in East Palestine, were it not for what happened with ProPublica, I've been talking about this for 20 years, and we got no progress at all. Now all of a sudden, Buttigieg is talking about it. Biden's talking about it. The media is paying attention to it. I get asked all the time, letters to the editor. I'm going to read one or two that have to do with this issue. So people across the country are paying attention,
and that's helped, right? I mean, it's helped bring attention to the issue, which all of a sudden now, next thing we're getting, we got a grant, and
this is where we'd be without that ProPublica article. Okay, we would be nowhere near getting the pedestrian bridge done that we're talking about. And we'd be clinging to the hope that we can get Governor's Parkway done. Yeah. Now we know Governor's Parkway is going to get done, and I know the pedestrian bridge will get done.
Yeah, and I think, again, we've said this multiple times, but a free and independent press is important because of articles like this and investigative journalism, which is, it's a rare form right now. So it was great, and it was really cool to see it happen and just come from all the hard work that I know you and the engineering department and you guys have put in for years on this project. And next thing you know, an article comes out, and it's like on warp speed, which is really cool.
Got some mailbag.
Ooh, John?
Mailbag.
What's up? I'm going to give this 6.5.
Needs to be
7.
on the soundboard. Needs to be on the soundboard.
I guess I got to dig through the archives and see what my best
You had some good stuff
was.
back there in season 3 and 4, dude.
And don't get me wrong, it's one of my favorite sounds. So
Kevin
I was happy to hear it, but it wasn't your best.
Like a continuous loop of that sound?
So I can just have it in my ear.
He could just drive down the street.
John's lips.
My lips in your ear.
That's the title of the show.
My lips in your ear.
My lips in Kevin's ear.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Mayor McDermott. This is the pastor of the True World Evangelical Outreach Ministry located in Cherry Street in Hammond, reaching out to thank you, Mayor Thomas, and the staff of the 2023 Prayer Breakfast. It was amazing and a blessing to thank you so much and your beautiful staff for the invitation. And if we can help you in any way in the community, please don't hesitate to email or call me. How nice. That was a nice mailbag.
You said they were. That was a great
that was
one.
A nice one. That was a nice
Wonderful.
one. I'll pick up the business.
And the prayer breakfast, by the way, for those who may not know, is an annual event that you hold in the city.
We've been doing it since my dad was mayor. So.
Interfaith kind of situation.
Yeah, super cool. All right, this is a negative one. How about that? We'll start this one. Okay. Is it wise? This is Mayor Tom from Bruce. Okay. All right, I won't tell his last name because I don't want the world to know he's an asshole. Okay?
Oh, no.
What?
Oh.
Did I say something wrong?
I just can't wait to hear this.
I'm excited, too. I just want to hear it
okay.
at this point.
Sorry, Bruce. My bad. Is it wise to have Festival of the Lakes with all the riots going on and on question mark? This is I'm reading it as he wrote. Okay, is it wise to have Festival of the Lakes with all the riots going on question mark? The media is calling them flash mobs, but they actually riots. I'm reading it as it was written, but they actually riots. Hammond is ghetto enough without hosting nights to gather and destroy hardworking people property. Look at what just happened in Tinley, spelled wrong, Park.
Listen, for me, if you write something and you don't have correct grammar,
you're out.
You're done.
I agree with you. It says it
Same
speaks
thing
volumes.
with comments on social media. Nah.
Thank you.
You're done.
I agree with you, Jill. Speaks comments.
So that's strike number 1.
Yeah, if you're gonna slam me, at least be intelligent. Be intelligent about it.
I like this with all the riots going on.
There are a lot of riots.
I mean, John, have you?
I heard there was one scuffle at something, but that's it.
This was written in late May in his defense.
Okay,
and what happened in late May?
I'm just saying. I don't know, man. I don't know.
All the riots. Then
he must be talking about Lil Wayne, who is, by the way, out of all the rappers that have had play festival, he's the most pro cop rapper we've ever had, without a doubt.
I just don't.
He
see
was raised
all
by
the riots. I don't know. It's like kind of almost like I don't want to. I mean, you already called him an asshole.
What happened in Tinley Park?
It's like they had that
There was a festival that got shut down because a group of kids. It wasn't a.
It wasn't a concert, was it?
No, it was it was for veterans, I think. Honestly.
Weren't they jumping on cars and doing?
I think we're talking
shit?
about two separate things.
I don't know, though. Was that at Tinley Park's venue?
Here it is.
No,
Tom.
one was.
Okay, here, let's see.
Flash mob.
All
right.
Is there supposed to be a video?
It doesn't look like.
Probably got to pay for it.
Canceled after fights break out during teen. Oh wait, here we go. There's
push that play button. There you go.
You should be back
here.
I'm the IT guy for.
John had his best day with D-Lo, and now it's been downhill.
Yeah, dude. He just mailed
what the hell are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
I'm pulling up articles on the fly where their embedded video players aren't working.
Yeah, good point.
What do you want from me?
All right.
Here's another one. This is from Ralph.
Anyway, there's the Tinley Park situation, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of almost like a veiled.
No, I get shit like that all the time, Kevin. Wow. I get shit like that all
Ripping
the time.
the city.
Here, after this ad, after this 30-second ad, we're going to be able to see what happened in Tinley
just
Park.
Keep playing that stupid ad.
Okay,
I'll read the next one, okay? Stop it as soon as that ad stops. I'll read this next one.
Is there any descriptive about this
Ralph seems like a very nice guy. I'm reading a letter from Ralph. That seemed like, Dear Mayor McDermott, just finished reading the May 8th issue of Crane's Chicago Business and was very distressed to read, and by the way, another different publication, and was very distressed to read the article.
About the rail thing is what you're, amazing.
Read the article regarding your city's children risking their lives to get to and from school. Until a solution is found, this dangerous situation will persist. So now Ralph has some ideas.
All right.
While you can't stop the children from crossing through all the rail cars, you can give them a signal before the train is about to move. It is my suggestion that before the conductor moves the stop train, he or she contact the person responsible for sounding the tornado warning so a short alarm may be broadcast. This will help prevent a catastrophe.
I think good intention.
Thank you, Ralph.
Good intentioned, Ralph, but not exactly practical.
Yeah.
Is it natural selection?
What do you mean?
If you try to go, but no, I'm not going to even finish.
Don't do that one, yeah. No, honestly, the weird thing, Jill, you know what bugged me is the ProPublica article was disgusting to me in a little bit of ways because the person that was filming the kids was right next to him. It was almost like, hey, cross these rail tracks so I can get you.
I don't think so. I think they were there watching and
but
people were
Kevin,
doing it.
They were right next. What would you do?
Literally right next to him.
What would you do? Would you say, hey,
do that?
Hey, cross right here so I could film you? Or would you be like, dude, don't do this. Let me drive you, right?
I mean, part of journalism is to capture what's going on,
but
and I think
I don't know,
if they don't capture that, Tom.
Listen, I'm not complaining.
No, I agree.
We're going to end up with a new bridge out of it.
I'm just saying, if journalists don't capture what is really going on, then they don't really have the story to report on. And so, I mean, I get what you're saying. It was unsafe, and you're like, oh my God, your natural instinct is don't do that. Mm-hmm. But then they wouldn't have captured what happened, and that's what garnered all the attention.
Right.
Is what was happening. But as far as, by the way, I put Ralph in kind of with the same basket as the gentleman who suggested you get a hold of Warren Buffett.
Yeah, I agree. It's just
good intentioned,
right?
But not.
Agree.
Could you imagine the tornado siren going off?
What's this one, John? That's the riot
this
in
is
Tinley Park.
Supposedly. Let's see if we get another ad. Hold on.
100 swarmed Saturday's carnival as part of what they called a flash mob.
It definitely came out of nowhere. There was a bunch of guys in ski masks.
Stop it real quick.
And there was a ton. And
bunch of guys in
ski masks.
Listen, everybody I see so far is white, Caucasian kids.
Not ghetto.
No,
like
not
very
ghetto.
Caucasian. All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
them around, and then all of a sudden people started running.
Tinley Park police say at least 400 teenagers organized a gathering on social media. This cell phone video shows police officers trying to break up the crowd Saturday night.
There's like 20
Yeah,
people.
wait, that's
There's
a
like
good
5
point.
people.
Isn't
That's
Tinley
a slow
Park like
night.
suburbia?
Very, very
Why?
suburban.
And yet the
It's
mailbag
diverse.
saying ghetto. There was
No.
ghetto. Okay.
I agree. I don't think Tinley Park's ghetto
Another
at all.
video
It's
posted to
diverse.
social
Was he
media
saying that we're
shows
ghetto?
one of
Yeah.
Yes.
He's saying we're ghetto.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
That is exactly what Bruce,
Yes.
Yeah,
with
Bruce-
the unknown
It's a
last
Hammond's
name.
already
is-
ghetto
That's why I
enough.
said- that's why I said he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Screw him.
This
But
looks
by
like
the
a
way, I don't
diverse
see a
crowd.
riot here.
I don't
Well,
see a riot
fights that
either.
happened on carnival grounds. Isabel Padola and Abby Kaiser had just gotten off a ride before they saw a rush of people
They
running.
look like they're like 14.
I saw every
2 upper middle class
Wow.
ladies.
Yeah. All right.
They were at Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Yeah,
were
they
for
probably
sure.
were.
Do we really have time to go through the triathlon stuff?
Oh, I want to hear because I think this is important. By the way, congratulations.
Well, we just saved it. We
Tom,
saved it.
we
for,
can
like,
at least
there's
go to
hardly any others.
8:49. You know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I did the try.
Before Kevin shuts you down.
I was in no shape to go to Taylor Swift that night. I was totally overestimating and underestimating how hard it was going to be.
By the way, Leon's Triathlon. It's a very famous triathlon in the city of Hammond. Mayor has supported it for the entire time he's been in office, and now
Right.
he does it.
Yeah,
And-
I was always jealous because I always thought I could do it, and I was afraid of the swim. And then when I was 51, I said, "Screw it, I'm doing it." And Jana and I both did Leon's full triathlon, and it was brutal for me.
Very hot day.
Yeah,
extremely hot
it was
day.
like 1,000 degrees.
The conditions
so
on
hot.
Sunday were beautiful.
Yeah,
it seemed
was perfect.
like, right?
Perfect weather.
And
It
how
was
was
like-
the crowd? A lot of veterans, a
Oh
lot
my
of
God,
disabled veterans.
It's so
and-
gorgeous. They do such a great job.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous. And then there's disabled vets everywhere, and it's just like very cool triathlon. The neatest one I do. But so I did the sprint, which is basically half the distance, right? And I did. My strength is the bike for sure, and I'm getting better at the run because I've been focusing on running. But what I didn't do a lot of for this is I just said, screw it, I could do the swim. I'm not worried about it.
But I mean, as a Navy diver and as somebody that's
I have confidence.
comfortable in the water,
Right.
and-
I have confidence I'm going to do the swim. I'm not going to set any records. I'm going to be one of the slower ones, but I'll get through it.
Yep.
And then my goal is to get on the bike, settle down, eat breakfast on the bike while I'm riding, and then get enough energy to finish the run. That's my same strategy in every try.
I have a question about that.
Sure.
Dean told me to ask you this. 'cause
Okay.
He saw you either getting on your bike or on the bike, eating a very large Granny Smith apple with a spare one in your pocket, and he was bewildered as how you could eat and ride the bike at the same time.
I'm good.
all the time.
I do. That's my strategy. I had two. I only finished one, and I didn't even eat the whole. It was huge.
He knew
But
it was
like-
Granny Smith.
Dude,
what he
That's
said.
his go-to. That's his go-to apple.
Yeah.
Dean knows his apples, man. He's spotting them from a
How
mile
about
away.
this? I had 4 bananas between the night before and the night of. I ate all kinds of bananas.
Is it just because you're worried about cramping?
Yeah, I'm really bad with cramping.
And-
Did you eat
As soon as
plantains?
I hit the goddamn water, I started cramping. Like, 'cause it was so
What?
cold. My foot just instantly started
And that's
cramping.
kind of your go-to cramp area,
Dude,
right? Your
my
foot.
feet are
Yeah.
brutal. And it's like, as soon as I got in, my toes were like pointing the wrong way.
I think I've been at a try with you
And then-
before where you've been.
So like I'm
cramping
pulling
in
on my
your foot.
toes before we even get started. I'm like trying to get my foot like settled down, and the water was cold. And
How was the crowd? Like, was everybody else nervous, excited?
a lot of nervousness. So like before we jump in, this is funny. So I ran into more Lockpod fans. And by the way, please identify yourself. If you're a Lockpodder, it's good for morale.
I agree.
I want to make sure we're not the only ones listening to ourselves. Okay. So I'm
The only
sitting
ones
there
yelling at each other.
and we're like all in our wetsuit, and I took a picture, and I look like a freaking whale. By the way, like I didn't realize I didn't have my wetsuit on. I look like a whale in the picture, but nonetheless, these people were really excited to meet me, and they were like, and I noticed there was 2 little girls that were doing the sprint also. And they were probably 15, 14, 13. in
That's
that
awesome,
ballpark,
like a
right?
little family.
2 little girls, and then the mom was like pointing to me, and then the little girls, and then the dad was like, "Hey, Mayor, how's it going?" I'm like, "Hey," and he goes, "Yeah, we're huge fans." And I'm like, "No way! Like, nice, like, nice to meet you. I always think I'm anonymous." And he's like, "No, we all wanted to come up and say hi." And we go, we listen to Lockpod all the time. We love the show.
That's great.
We love you guys. We appreciate what you do. And I'm like, God, that's awesome. I go, your girls listen too. He's like, they listen to every show. Whether they like it or not, we're in the car and they listen on the way
Sure,
there.
they love this
They're
episode.
scarred.
Right?
Yeah, like, oh,
Sorry,
the poor
girls.
girls.
So the girls were looking at me like they met like a star or something. And I was like, man, this feels so good. So I went up to him and I was like, yeah, you guys ready for the try, right? Yeah, he was like, yeah. I'm like, you guys listen to the show? And they go, yeah, we listen to the show. And I'm like, you like it? And they go, no, not really.
Back down to earth.
Dicks.
Me neither, girls.
It was like,
Man,
They were
girls.
sweethearts. And by the way, I passed one of them up in the sprint. They were kicking butt. They were
Whoa.
right with me. They're
That's
right with
great.
me, and I trained for this.
That's pretty cool that they're
and
doing
they were like
sprint.
literally, they were beautiful young women, and they were obviously very strong young women because they're doing a triathlon with their mom. Like, it was badass.
Family try.
It was super cool. So thank you for introducing yourself to me, to the family.
So if there was one thing you could switch about your strategy to the try, like what would it have been?
I'm going to start not wearing a wetsuit. I have to stop being a wimp about cold water. Like, I'm such a wimp about cold water because I swim in my pool all the time. And
your pool is
86
warm.
degrees.
Oh, my God.
It's a bath.
Oh,
So,
my
like,
God, that's hot.
So if you put me in 82-degree water, I'm freezing, right?
And this was 68.
This was 68. So
no,
like,
they announced 70.
Oh,
it did feel
it's 70. All right.
So Jill, I hit the water. I was first off. I tested my wetsuit. I wasn't moving a muscle, and I was floating on the water. And this is a disadvantage. Wetsuit weighs 10, 15 pounds. Okay, it elevates me so that every time you hit a wave or anything,
Buoyant.
your body's going with it instead of like going through it like you would normally. So I'm going over it instead of through it, and basically, I feel like every time I wear a wetsuit, I'm going to die in the water. I'm warm, but I'm like out of breath. And
I mean, like it gets you hot, like overheated.
Hot, and not just that, it's hard to pull it in the water because it's a weight, right? And then so you're warm, but you're not flying. I'm not cutting through the water like I'm used to. I fly through the water like a fish.
Yeah.
And like I am not a fish.
What
with the wetsuit?
So
I am like a seal that's stuck on the top. Man.
The other thing I hear about tries is that there's such a difference between pool swimming and open water swimming.
No doubt about it.
And if you're not used to swimming open water, like if you trained only in a pool,
right,
and then hit
which
the open water,
which is me.
Well, but you're used to open water, like from being a diver.
Dude,
it's
that
not
was
like
a long time
foreign.
ago, and I wasn't trying to set records. We weren't worried about it. We had big tanks on our back. We weren't trying to swim fast. We would, by the way, we wouldn't swim on the top either. I'd get the tanks and I'd go underneath.
And I just meant that like
fins
it creates anxiety if you've never swum open water and all of a sudden get in.
That doesn't make me nervous.
Right.
That doesn't make me nervous at all. What made me nervous was I just felt like first off I kept fogging up. Put it this, I get out of the water, my pulse, I was panting, which is that's not a long swim for me. A third of a mile is not a long swim for me.
Right.
I'm panting, I'm hot as hell, so I take my wetsuit off the top while I'm in transition, panting. So I'm changing into my bike gear. I check my pulse when I get on my bike. So I push my bike to the start, jump on, check my pulse. My pulse is 153. This is after about 10 minutes after I'm swimming. So I must have been 160 plus when I get out of the water, right? When I get off my bike 12 miles later, my pulse is 137.
Yeah. So,
it's like bikes calm me down. I drank my whole bottle. I ate one apple. I still had one apple in my thing. And then by the time I hit the run, I was fine.
Well, congrats once again on competing and finishing and making Lockpod proud.
I think that's my 8th or something.
It's amazing.
Like
Really is.
I'm like a triathlete now.
Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and do some ads. And we got a good story about a book that Texas schools are sending home for kids to deal with a new culture in America. And then not only that, we have a little clip about debt ceiling and a funny story about Lauren Boebert.
Oh, the Boebert thing.
This is worth sticking around for, everybody. So let's do Powering America. Jill?
Looking for a new career in 2023? Earn a competitive wage while you gain valuable hands-on experience as an electrician. Did we mention employer-paid benefits, including health insurance, pension, and an annuity? If so, visit jact697.org, sponsored by Powering America.
Jacked. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outside patio. Their brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. Byway is conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer. And I also want to mention at Byway, they do have a 3-way now, which means they can serve liquor, which is good for like if you're looking for a special event.
License.
Yeah, 3-way liquor license,
right.
Beer, wine, and liquor. So for your special events, they do have a full bar now.
Cool. Cantrell and Cantrell. Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured? Are you in trouble with the law? If so, give us a call today and schedule your consultation with somebody who's in the court at this very moment and at the jail every single day. Call John Cantrell at 219-5544-LAW. That's 219-554-4529. Or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you and their Taylor Swift fans.
Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 54 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the business. To learn more and schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-0000. 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com, 219-933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
Ku Klux Law. Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn? Who are you going to call? Ku Klux. Do you need representation buying or selling real estate? Who are you going to call? Ku Klux. Do you need help forming your business? Call Ku Klux Law. Did you get injured in a car crash or at your job? Call Ku Klux Law. No matter what your legal issue is, call Ku Klux Law at 219-671-6347 for a free consultation. Hablamos Español.
And thank you to all our sponsors, including Cantrell and Cantrell. John was here earlier, and now he's off to court, just like the ad says.
Saw an interesting story in the Post-Tribune last week about a book that Texas school districts are sending home. Kevin, can you talk a little bit?
Sure. A Texas school, near Dallas, I think, or maybe it was Dallas. Texas school district sent home a booklet that was Winnie the Pooh based, that had to do with run, hide, fight, which I think is the little go-to phrase regarding training children for active shooter situations in their schools, and actually, I guess everybody. We saw a video on run, hide, fight as well that you sent around a while ago. And the interesting thing was, we've been talking about books being banned for so long. This was a booklet that was actually sent home with kids. In this instance, I was reading about Cindy Campos. She has a 5-year-old son who brought the book home, and it was sent home with obviously young children for their parents to discuss active shooter situations. So it's
lovely topic.
Yeah, I mean, so it's part of me says, this is the reality in the world we live in, and the younger that you can teach children what to do in a weird situation, the better. I know that John was talking about where his kids go at St. Tom's, and where my kids went, that they do something they do a training like that for them as well. It's a little bit different than this one, and I think most school districts are doing something on this. So that's the reality. The question, I think, is, should this have been sent home? And I don't know. What do you think?
What's that say, John? John's got a
here's
portion.
a screenshot.
Oh, here we go.
If you see or hear something that is not right, be bright and tell a teacher. Do not delay. Do this the right way. If there is danger, the police will come fast to catch the stranger. Until then, remember what Pooh and his crew said to do. Run, hide, fight. That's 2 of the pages in the book.
Is Winnie the Pooh in the public domain, Kevin?
That's a great question.
Yes,
I thought it is. Okay,
answer.
there you go.
It is.
Interesting.
There was a Winnie the Pooh horror movie that just came out.
Really?
Okay. They were able to do that because of...
So that's why they were able to use Winnie the Pooh.
What is it, Life of the Author plus 50 years or something like that?
Something like that. I always, all trademark and copyright questions, ask Marissa McDermott.
Well, I know. That's where I got this from. But
Yeah.
I know Mickey Mouse is not in the public domain, so how is Winnie the Pooh?
Well, maybe
Winnie the
can
Pooh
you
must have come out
renew
earlier.
Can you renew your trademark and copyright?
Must be.
Yeah,
right?
or there's
So
a variation, or
like Winnie the Pooh's creators gave up on Winnie the Pooh or something.
E. Milne.
A.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A. Milne. Thank
That's
you.
weird though, unless they had something to do with this. Maybe they did.
Maybe. That's a good question. This is the interesting thing, though, that I thought out of that article. And the school district said, it's a Dallas Independent School District, by the way. And they said, unfortunately, we did not provide parents any guide or context. We apologize for the confusion and are thankful to parents who reached out to assist us in being better partners. So I think that's interesting, right? If you're going to send something home like that with your kindergartner, you probably should give parents hey, this is why we're sending this home. This is what we think. If you want to do this, this is what you should do.
Right.
Just sending a booklet home is, I don't know.
That's weird.
Well, it's kind of shocking too. And as the parent pointed out, she said, I'm reading my son what I think is going to be a bedtime book, and it ends up being something where
the
nightmare book,
right.
which I get.
The nightmare book.
No, relax, little Johnny.
Also,
Run, hide,
there are
fight.
no Winnie the Pooh characters that are known for running or fighting.
That's also
Right.
true.
That's weird.
Yeah,
That's also
The
true.
whole thing is weird. All right, hey, we wanted to talk. I know since we last left you on LockPod, the U.S. Congress, House, and the Senate both passed a debt ceiling resolution, and the president signed into law a debt ceiling extension that prevents America from catastrophic default on their bond payments and shutting down the government and basically being a deadbeat in front of the rest of the world. Now, that's good news, I guess. The stock market reacted very well. It went up a couple %. But in reality, what I'm here to tell you, America, is this constant every 2 years going to the precipice, looking over the edge, acting like we're going to default is putting America on shaky ground when it comes to our debt rating.
Yeah, and the mayor talks about debt rating or loan rating, debt rating a lot because we deal with it with the city, and he's very familiar with it. But for those that aren't, like, it goes from like AAA or whatever it is,
which
AAA
is the
plus,
best,
which is the best, AAA down to like triple B minus, I think, or maybe single B minus or something like that. But anyway, every time your debt rating gets lowered means that you have to borrow money at a higher rate.
Right.
And so it's a big deal. And that's why
AAA is the gold standard, and it's American U.S. Treasuries. Is AAA rated the highest, the most pure investment you can make. The zero risk investment you can make is AAA U.S. Treasuries. And now every 2 years we act like we're not going to pay the debt. And every 2 years, we have posturing from one party or the other that says we're not going to pass a debt extension. And basically what we're doing to ourselves is putting debt, the rating agencies like Moody's, Standard & Poor's, Fitch, these agencies that rate securities, not just U.S. debt, they rate all securities, are saying, hey, America, you cannot be considered AAA if every 2 years you keep acting like you're not going to pay your debts. This is a big deal, America. I know that one rating agency has put U.S. securities on negative watch, which means at any time Fitch could come out and say U.S. Treasuries aren't AAA rated anymore. And if they do that, you watch what happens.
Yeah, I mean, negative watch, I think it goes exactly what Mayor Tom just said, is that it's like, hey, over the past 15 years, I think what they said was, over the past 15 years, there's been a deterioration in governance with increased political polarization and partisanship. And they said the negative watch they hope to resolve by third quarter of 23. But,
right.
I mean,
you're
right. I mean, like,
they could
resolve
come
one
out
or the
and
other.
say, okay, America's not AAA anymore, it's AA. Because until you fix this bullshit.
Notwithstanding the debt ceiling deal.
Until you guys fix, there should be some type of law passed by Congress, signed by the president, that says there is no negotiation when it comes to the debt ceiling. The only thing you could do to lower the debt is to fix it in the budget, not act like you're going to default on your loans.
I mean, because that's the problem, right? I mean, if you're one of the folks that voted against it, at least on the right, what I kept hearing was we can't let this just to keep going unresolved, and we have to. Right. The only way to do it is to cut.
No, it's not to default. It's to do that through the budget process,
right.
And you're probably not going to be successful because you're not in charge of the presidency, which is that's how American government works. But the answer is, Kevin, let's say you loan me money over the years. And it's never been a problem. And I owe you a significant amount of money. And you're loaning me, and I'm always making my payments, but it's growing. Like
China.
My debt with you is growing every year, right? And then all of a sudden, I started saying, like, I'm not sure if I'm going to pay you back.
Right.
And you loan me money. I'm like, and I do pay you back, but I'm always acting like, I don't know. You're going to be like, screw you, man. I'm going to stop loaning you money.
Right. How do I know you're going to fix this problem?
You always threaten to not pay me, but you do pay me, but you keep threatening me to not pay me.
It's like you're a good. You always were a good customer, but now you're a pretty good customer.
Right, you're scaring me. You owe me a lot of money, and you're acting like you're not going to pay me back. That scares me because you owe me a lot of money, right?
Like like if a bank is loaning a company a lot of money, and all of a sudden, like its board of directors takes a change.
We think about going BK, right? Then you'd be like, I'm going to stop loaning you
negative
money.
watch,
right? America, we got to stop the craziness with the debt ceiling standoffs and looking over the edge and acting like we're going to do this. It's not going to be a positive result for us. You have to fix that legislatively.
And I thought one of the interesting points on the debt ceiling was that, and we talked about this when we were pre-showing, it's kind of like the extreme sides of each party were like voted no, and the middle voted yes.
And I know that pissed off Steve Bannon, right?
And it's pissed off Steve Bannon and probably John.
Right?
Why would you say that?
Well, I mean, what'd you think about McCarthy making a deal, John? Just curious.
I'm sick of the dog and pony show.
Yep.
That's all that's taking place down there. Go back to January when they couldn't even vote on the Speaker of the House or whatever it was. Like, all of that was bullshit. All of this is just bullshit. It's all a dog and pony show. But here's what Steve Bannon had to say.
The Republican Party, those 149 who voted for it, who all have to be primaried. Let me repeat that. All of them, including people we're quite fond of, and some who we used to be fond of, have to be primaried. You know why? They have to stand on a debate stage when the primary season, and they have to justify what they did with the knowledge they had at the time of what went on.
I actually don't disagree with this, but not because of his argument, but because of the dog and pony show constantly in D.C.
Well, I mean, this goes back to
vote them all out.
John,
Nothing's getting done.
When Trump was president, there was debt ceiling votes to increase the debt limit as well.
Right.
I mean, it's not, and I think what you're saying is not just this issue. It's the
it's
the debt has been blowing up under every president.
Since
except
Clinton.
for Bill Clinton.
Right.
Right.
Clinton.
Bill Clinton actually had it under control.
But
nobody
Tom,
liked him because he got a blowjob. So
I thought you said it really well, Tom. Like something has to be done about the spending issue, but you do that during budget season.
When you borrow money, you pay it back, especially if you're America. And if we act like we're not going to pay our debt back, you can't expect to remain AAA rated. And if we're not AAA rated, there's going to be repercussions that are massive if we get downgraded. It happened already, and the stock market fell like 15%. I think that's a big deal.
The challenge right now is, look, the debt ceiling got raised till 2025. So you have this term, you have 2024.
Yeah, it gets you through the presidential raise.
Yeah, get it fixed in the budget. Get it fixed in the budget. So we're not in the same situation in 2025.
They're not going to.
That's the challenge.
But what happens is if we get downgraded in debt, and then they'll probably do it. If I was Moody's, Standard & Poor's, Fitch, I would say, listen, I'm downgrading you right now. You're AA in America until you fix this problem.
That'd be trillions in
right.
problems.
But like you're AA because it should be AA. You can't act like you're deadbeats. We can't act like we're deadbeats every 2 years. You can't act like you're deadbeats and expect to be the best investment in the entire world. We're AA until you fix this problem, America. That's what I would do.
And by the way,
I'm short the market.
Senator Young voted
fairness.
yes. Braun voted no.
Right.
Yeah.
And so did Mervan voted yes. Carson voted yes. There was only 3 of Indiana's 11 that voted yes.
Senator Young and Representative
Senator Young.
Mervan
Good job.
and Carson.
By the way,
yes,
he's being bipartisan.
I agree.
He voted for gay marriage. And by the way, Lauren Boebert, this is the close of the show.
This is great.
This is classic. Thanks for hanging out. For those of you that are still hanging out, this is worth it. So Lauren Boebert, before we close out, thanks for being in here again, Jill. It's great to see you. And thanks for not making me go on that date that night because I was not in the mood. Like I was out wiped.
That sounded like it would have been a bad date.
I would have been a bad date. I would have been charming for you because you would have been excited.
You'd have been driving, Jill. Tom would have been asleep in the passenger
I was
seat.
driving, right?
I was really, really tired when I got home.
I bet.
I was like whiny a little bit, and Marissa was out of town, so I was like whimpering.
You had no one to whine to.
Jay Vez, good to see you again, brother. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great show.
Hey, can we spend more time on this the next episode? Like, because we kind of glossed over this debt ceiling thing because we ran out of time.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more.
Agree. Well, I have a feeling it's not a debt issue, John.
Yeah.
So just on the debt ceiling issue, this is the closeout.
This is the closeout. So obviously it's a big vote to extend the debt ceiling. It's a huge vote. And there's people, we talked about the extremes of both parties were pissed off. Progressives were pissed because there was a number of programs that were cut and work requirements put in. The right was pissed because they really wanted America to default to make the president look bad. Lauren Boebert was not one of the happy ones. She was pissed about the whole thing because she's an extremist and she wanted America in chaos. So she basically comes out the next day after this vote and explains why she failed to vote. Because
so funny.
She failed to vote because it was idealistic, and what happened in reality is she was caught running into the Capitol and missed the vote.
Tardy.
She missed the vote because she had something better to do in Washington, D.C. I'll let you draw your own conclusions. But they literally had a video of her running up the steps to try to make the vote.
After she said, I'm not voting because... Yeah.
So what you're going to hear is her excuse why she didn't vote. And then secondly, you're going to hear her running up the footsteps as a CNN photographer caught her trying to make the vote. So you decide for yourself. Thanks for listening to Lockpod, everybody. After this clip, we are out. Take care, everybody.
Lauren Boebert has been caught in a deeply embarrassing lie. So firstly, the Colorado Congresswoman released a video after the debt ceiling vote talking about how she didn't vote as, quote, a protest.
But let's talk about DC. No excuses. I was ticked off. They wouldn't let me do my job, so I didn't take the vote. Once again, Washington's power machine shoved a multi-trillion-dollar bill down our throats, refused to allow debate or amendments, disregarded everything we fought for in January to actually allow representatives to do their jobs, and instead, they served us up a crap sandwich. Call it a no-show protest.
But then came CNN associate producer Morgan Rimmer, who happened to capture footage of the night of the vote of Boebert running to make the vote and finding out that it was, in fact, closed.
They just closed it. They closed it? Yeah.